everybody, it's Amy from Winterwood Studio, and today I have just like a little mini art haul, and then I thought we could swatch my watercolor pencils I got in my last art haul and maybe draw something with them. I've never used watercolor pencils ever before in my life, so it should be fun. So come on in and let's get opening and then draw something. Okay, so I just have a few things here today, but I wanted to share them with you guys. So let's open them and see what's in here. So this is a marker storage system, and I don't know if you can see it back. Yeah, you can see it back over there. Those are my Copic alcohol markers. So yeah, I have another big art haul coming soon. Well, I don't know, in a few weeks, but this is gonna give you a hint as to what's in the big upcoming art haul. And actually something else in here will too. Okay, so there is that. And then let's open this. Okay, so in here there are two things. This is the first one. Let's get it out of the plastic here so you can see it. This was the set of two that I ordered, so I hope I like them. I saw, The Mind of Watercolor. I think that's the YouTube channel. I hope I have that right. I'll drop the link to his channel down below. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. I've watched his stuff for a long time, and he got these. They're the Painter's Color Diary watercolor swatching books. And it seemed like a really good idea. I have mine, well, that proves my point. I swatch the stuff as I get it, and I keep it in a red folder, and I don't know where it is. So yeah, I just wanted to start swatching my stuff in these books so that I would always have everything all together, and I would just keep all the books together on the shelf. And it says each book has 10 pages, and each page is protected by this glassine sheet. So I'm thinking that I can swatch watercolors, but also maybe my oil pastels and my soft pastels and my colored pencils and maybe even my alcohol markers, depending on if it bleeds through. So I got two to start. The two was a better deal than one. I think one was 21 and two was 35, so it was a better deal to get two, plus there was like a 5% coupon the day I got them, so that helped too. So I am, that's weird. This one's in plastic and this one's not. I wonder why this one wasn't wrapped. Ooh, and it's got a cut on the back. Well, that shouldn't affect its ability. It doesn't go through, so it doesn't look like it was used or anything. Nothing's bent, so it should be fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna start like collecting all my swatches in these and keep them all together so I always know where they are. So, and then maybe this will be the first thing I swatch in there, I think. And then the third and last thing I got, because this is just a mini haul, not so much in price, but in the amount of things, was this. This is Imaginative Realism by James Gurney, How to Paint What Doesn't Exist. And I've talked about his first book, Color and Light, on here many, many, many times. And I had never bought this one, and I wanted to buy it and see what I thought. It looks pretty interesting. I'm really interested in reading it, so I will let you know if I like that or not. So that is my whole little mini art haul, just those three things. I will say, like I said, there's a big one coming. This is another hint as to what's coming. So yeah, get ready for that. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I'm not exactly sure. I've got some other videos coming up that I have to get scheduled first. This is, I've already got this upcoming thing filmed. but I have some upcoming videos that have to be scheduled in first, so we'll see when it comes up. So there's my art haul, my mini art haul. Why don't we pick one of these books and swatch these and try to draw something with them today? Come on in. Okay, so we're over here at my desk. I have the watercolor pencils, some water, a brush, a scrap of Fabriano Studio watercolor paper. I'm thinking I might want a bigger sheet, but we'll see. And I just wanted to play with them for a minute before we did them in the actual watercolor book. So let's play with them and see what happens. So the first thing we need to do is get this plastic off. And it looks like it's a tin that opens. Not sure what this is, a sticker of all the different Caran products. Okay, very pretty. Quality tin. Let's see what happens. Now let's start with the yellow. So they feel like just a regular watercolor or a regular colored pencil, like a nice soft one, although not as creamy as like a Prismacolor or the Caran Luminance, but soft, and it lays down the color nicely. I don't think I'm going to swatch the white on here because I don't think it would show up, but we will play with it in a second. Alright, let's wet this brush here and see what happens. These are really pretty. The colors are really bright and pigmented. It's really beautiful. Okay, let's see. I would like to see, run some more tests over on this side. Like what happens if I layer some red and then we go to the yellow and we overlap it a little bit. And then we bring the yellow down. All right, let's see what happens with that. Oops. So you can see the line where it overlaps, so that's good to know. We do yellow over there, purple over here. And let's see what happens if we blend them together this way. I think there might be a little bit of liquid graphite on here that I might have got on that purple there. If we lay the red down really lightly and then put the yellow on top of it more heavily, let's see what kind of color that makes. First, let's make sure I wash this off good in case there's any of that graphite left on it. Okay, let's take this blue and do it really lightly. And then let's do the magenta. These don't have color. Oh, they do. Purple 090. Let's do that on top and see what happens. So I've never used watercolor pencils before. I don't know how they're supposed to work. The graininess that the pencils leave behind doesn't totally dissolve. So there's a little texture left behind. Interesting. Okay. Let's swatch them in my new watercolor books. Okay, so here we are. I haven't done anything in here yet. I'm going to leave, let's see, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 35 a page. I'm going to leave the first 2 for my Daniel Smith watercolors. And then we'll start on this page. I'm going to write over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll probably need the 2 rows. I'm going to write the... So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full thing across the bottom, and then up here I'm just going to do a block to here and pull it across. Let's see how that works. And I think down here I'll just leave the colored, like a colored pencil type sample. Alright, so let's do that for all of these, and let's actually label these as we go. So this is lemon yellow 240, and these have light fast ratings on them, it looks like. So this is 1, 2, 3 stars. I'm gonna have to look up what the stars mean. I have never used watercolor pencils before. I've heard that there's some issues with them not being as light fast as actual watercolors. On the Dick Blick website, it didn't have individual light fast info for each pencil, but it did have a little blurb at the top of the pencil sheet for these that said they had superior light fastness. But I'm seeing 2s here for a lot of these, and I'm not sure how they're rating them, but generally I would not think that 2 is superior light fastness, which is disappointing. Maybe they're rating them differently than how I was expecting them to be rated, but that's definitely something I'm going to need to check out, I think, before I would want to use them in a piece. The colors themselves are really saturated and bright and re-wet beautifully. I'm just a little worried about that light fastness. Okay, I checked this quick, and from what I can see, 3 stars is excellent, 2 is very good, and 1 would be good. I don't know what that rates to years. I might have to do some light fastness testing of my own on these this summer, so we will have to see. In the meantime, I think I'm going to just draw something simple and see what happens with these when I wet them. So I will be right back. Okay, I've got some scrap paper here. I have my swatches. I have my watercolor pencils. I've drawn my sketch and transferred it to here. I've got the link to this photo is down below if you want to follow along, and we will see what happens. I'm going to leave the background, I think, white. And for the flowers down here, I'm just going to lay in some loose flower shapes. Okay, so this is dry enough. I'm not going over this right now. I was using the Fabriano Studio paper, which is normally okay for light watercolors, but I think wet with the pencils on it damaged the paper a little bit. So that is something important to know. Okay, so now let's work on this butterfly here a little bit. And I realized I forgot to put the lines in here. So all in all, these watercolor pencils were really fun to use. I really enjoyed using them. They were softer than I was expecting them to be. They felt like they were going to be like just regular colored pencils, but they definitely weren't. They almost had like a powdery feel to them, like a pastel pencil would. Not that they left powder, they didn't. It just felt similar to using a pastel pencil and not as similar as a colored pencil. I treated them like I would watercolors or colored pencils in that I started with a light wash of color, which I would do for watercolors, and if I was using colored pencil, I would start with a base color and then use odorless mineral spirits to turn that into a wash of color. They worked really well. They were very vibrant when they were wetted, more vibrant than when they were just being used as a colored pencil. The black was not very dark, which I wasn't surprised. I'd heard that before, that blacks in watercolor pencils weren't very dark. I did do a couple layers of the black as a watercolor, and then at the very end I did a layer of it just as a black colored pencil on top of the 2 layers of watercolor to get it even a little darker. If you want a true black, I would suggest going over it with a colored pencil, or if you use like an ivory black or a lamp black watercolor, that might be a good idea to do as well. I liked how much control it gave me. I didn't have things behaving unexpectedly the way that you can sometimes with watercolor. It felt more controlled than watercolor, although obviously not as controlled as a just pure colored pencil, even colored pencil with odorless mineral spirits would feel. I liked how it looked in the end. It didn't really have any grainy texture at all, except where I went back and purposely added some in just to give it more texture, or in the case of the black, to make the color a little more vibrant. I was a little worried it would show as a grainy texture at the end based on the tests I did, but it really didn't have any sort of unpleasant texture. There was maybe just a little bit of mild texture, but I think it added to the charm of the piece rather than took away from it. The colors didn't really spread into each other too much either, which was another thing I was worried about. They sort of stayed where I put them on the paper. The red and the black of the body did mix a little bit, but a lot less than I thought it would, so that was a pleasant surprise as well. Again, it felt very controlled. I have felt like I had a lot of control that I don't normally have with just plain watercolors. Okay, so I think I'm done with the watercolor pencils. That was a lot of fun. I think I would maybe like to get a bigger set. It was fun. I enjoyed it very much. I'm not liking this so much, so just for fun, I'm going to take out my pen. I'm just going to loosely draw in like some flower shapes. Okay, that was fun. I had a lot of fun. I actually did have a lot of fun today. It was relaxing, and I was having kind of a bit of a unhappy day, so this was a relaxing thing. So let's do a tape peel and see what we think. You know what, just for fun, let's take this red. That was kind of fun. Alright, so there is my video for the Caran Supracolor Aquarelle watercolor pencils. They were a lot of fun. I'm not 100% sure what the light fastness is. Like I said, all I could find was 3 means excellent, 2 means very good, and 1, which none of these were, meant good. So I'm assuming, since these are all 3s and 2s, and they said on the Dick Blick website that their light fastness for the whole range is excellent. I'm assuming anything 2 and 3 would be totally fine to use. I would have to maybe do some actual testing on my own. But they were a lot of fun. I highly recommend them. I was feeling a little down and not inspired today, and this actually really cheered me up. So I definitely recommend them. I hope you liked this video. As always, hit like and subscribe and leave a comment. That helps support my channel so I can make more videos for you. And until next time, happy creating!